Elif Shafak, Evaristis Bernardine, Chimamanda Adichie. My list of my favorite female authors just goes on and on. In fact, it's endless. The first ever time I read Paul Coelho, it was like I was reading a book written by King Solomon.
Say what?
The grammar used in the palm wine drinkard just goes a long way to show that sometimes grammar doesn't even mean anything when writing a book. And he said he asked the drum to tight him, and the drum tightened him. I was like, what? The Bookologist. Hey guys, my name is Chidima and welcome to the first ever episode of the Bookologist. Well guys, for those who have been following my previous podcast called The Real Talk, that show has ended. It ran from July 2020 to February 2021 with 10 episodes. So yeah guys, you can go listen if you haven't listened. Also, I have another show called The Reggae Radio Speciale, and that one is actually a music podcast for my reggae lovers. Shout out to y'all. Shout out to you guys that have been listening and all. Thank you so much, guys. So without wasting much time, let's head straight to the business for today. The Bookologist is basically a book review podcast, and today we are going to be reviewing a book called The Palm Wine Drinkard. Yay, I'm so excited. This is one of my favorite books I've tried reading. The Palm Wine Drinkard was written by Amos Tutuola. Some people might say, is drinkard actually the correct English? Yes, you heard me clearly. The Palm Wine Drinkard. It may interest you to know that this is the first ever West African book published in English. And one distinctive thing about this book is the language used. Tutuola uses Yoruba English, and this kind of violates conventional grammar and gives the book a poetic and a comedic effect. So, critics are like, he's not speaking good English, and they might try to criticize the book. But me, personally, I love the book because the language used cracked me up. For example, when he said to death, he went to visit death, and when he got there, he had to alert death that he had reached, like to salute death. So he beat the drum for death to know that he has come. And Death found the sound of the drum quite disturbing and irritating to his ears. So he commanded the drums to tighten him, and the drums tightened him. I was like, what? Like, what do you mean by the drums tightened him? Naturally, you would have said he commanded the drums to tie him, and the drums tied him. So you see, it's not real, it's not actual English. It is Yoruba Pidgin English. And most Nigerians will understand this because this is actually how most Nigerians talk. It's even far different from our Pidgin. Pidgin is different, but the way Amos Tutuola was writing his book, it was more of like English Yoruba. Like, personally, me as a Nigerian, I can say, I want to go and have my bath. No, not, instead of saying I want to go and have my bath, I will say, I want to go and bath. Or you can say, have you baited? That is not actual English, but it sounds correct to us. Nigerians can tell you, reverse back. Like, reverse already means to reverse. You don't need to add reverse back, but Nigerians will tell you reverse back. So the way we speak our English is kind of different, and I feel like Amos Tutuola was writing the way he speaks. So you could hear his voice in the way he's writing. So yeah, that was one thing I understood from the book. So the book follows the tale of an unnamed palm wine drinker who likes to refer to himself as the father of gods who could do anything in the world. Actually, I could call him an addict. I feel like he was addicted to palm wine because in the book, they said, or the narrator said, he drinks an exaggerated amount of palm wine. And palm wine is a local Nigerian drink you get from a palm wine tree. You have to climb up the palm wine tree to sap the palm wine. And in fact, he drinks this palm wine morning, afternoon, and evening. So his rich father hires him a tapster, but unfortunately for him, the tapster falls from the tree one day and dies. So he gets bothered because he's waiting for his palm wine, and like he's been waiting, and the tapster hasn't brought his keg of palm wine. And he gets bothered and goes in search of the tapster, and notices that the tapster has fallen from the tree and is injured and is dead. So instead of burying the palm wine tapster straight away, he climbs the tree and taps his own palm wine and drinks to his satisfaction with his friends before they bury his tapster. So the book actually follows a tale of this unnamed palm wine drinker going in search of his dead palm wine tapster because he can no longer get good palm wine the way his former palm wine tapster, the dead one, used to give him, and the quantity he used to give him. So he goes in search of his dead palm wine tapster. So the story is basically about his adventure and everything he faces trying to look for his dead palm wine tapster. He actually has to go to a town called the Dead Town, where dead people live, in search of his palm wine tapster. And he comes on his way, he encounters a lot of creatures, a lot of exaggerated creatures. The creatures that he talks about in the book reminds me of let me say a movie. This movie, it reminds me of Jurassic Park and Harry Potter. Reminds me of Harry Potter because it's full of magic and creatures that you cannot even imagine. In one part, he said his wife's tomb grew very big and his wife bore a son through her tomb. Do you understand? So the book is kind of it's funny, but it's exaggerated. So the journey kind of seems very fruitless and frightening, and but I kind of like the character development of the narrator through the movie, because he's no longer the nonchalant palm wine drinkard who just sits and drinks palm wine. Now he has experience, he has helped people, he has encountered people, and he helped his village. So yeah, the character developed through the book. Well, as for me, that book is a must read, and I'll rate it 10 out of 10. No, let me not give you the perfect score. I'll rate it 8 over 10. If you're a lover of African folklore, you would like this book. If you're a lover of Chinua Achebe, you should like this book. And growing up in Nigeria, I'm sure growing up in other African countries too, my fellow Africans can relate to the fact that we were told different folk tales from when we were little, like the tortoise and the hot porridge, the elephants as the king of the jungle, and so on. So if you are a lover of folk tale, Asian tales, you should definitely go read this book. And this book is available via PDF, and I have it in PDF. So if you want it from me, you can reach out to me at chidimaugoji382@gmail.com. That's CHIDIMAUGOJI382@gmail.com, and I will send it to you. Yeah. So unfortunately, this is where we come to the end of the show. And in my next podcast, we are going to be reviewing The Alchemist by Paulo Coelho. So stay tuned for that one, guys. And thanks for listening. And I'll catch you guys next time on The Bookologist. My name is Chidima, and don't forget to spread love and positivity.